Hi there folks, welcome back to the IB and Andy Fishing channel. I hope you're doing really well. It is the last week of September, believe it or not. We have 2 weeks of the trout season left to go here in Derbyshire in the Peak District. I cannot believe how quickly this summer has flown by. It really has. But I love coming out at this time of year. It's one of my favourite times of year to fish for trout, so I've decided to come out while the weather's good, while we've got some sun in the sky. Not at the moment, but there should be at some point, to do some dry fly fishing for some wild trout while we've got the chance. In truth, if I just wanted to come up here and blast numbers and catch as many fish as possible, I honestly think I'd be much better off fishing nymphs. But we're just about to do a whole winter of fishing nymphs, whereas the dry fly fishing might not be good forever. But while we've got some sun, while we've got some heat, you've got to get the dry fly rig out. So that's all I've brought with me. I'm on the Derbyshire Derwent, fishing the Peacock Fly Fishing Club water. Always nice to come up here. It's one of the places I do my guiding on. I guided on here yesterday. It fished really nicely, so touch wood, we'll get a little bit of good fishing today ourselves. Only got one rod with me. I've got a nice soft action 9-foot 4 weight. I've got a relatively long leader on the end of that I can build onto if I need to, if I'm struggling to get quality drifts. Very limited selection of flies. In fact, I've only got 7 patterns with me, 2 of which, the 2 terrestrial patterns, to be honest, I'm probably not going to use. So really, I'm going to stick to 5 patterns. But at this time of year, it's nice and simple. For September and October, your hatches really are an upwinged insect called a pale watery. You'll have some caddis kicking around, but not lots. You'll have a stonefly species called a needlefly, and you'll have a few bits and pieces. You'll have a few midges, a few gnats, the odd large dark olive maybe, something like that. But in truth, between the pale wateries and those stoneflies, that's going to make up the majority of the hatches you'd expect to see. Minimal on kit as well. I've only got a little bit of floating, a little bit of muslin, a few bits and bobs. Nice light fishing at this time of year, fishing on the dries. I'm really excited to get going. It's just gone midday. I'm probably going to fish for about 5 hours. It's nice at this time of year because your hatches are daytime hatches. It's all compressed into the middle of the day. Hopefully we can find some rising fish. Let's go and see what happens. So I just sat for about 10 minutes. I needed to do some rigging. I wanted to have a little watch just to see what was happening, see what's hatching, see what's rising. The sun's gorgeous at the moment. It's a really, really pleasant day, particularly when that wind drops. And the sun is bringing out some bugs. I've not seen lots of anything, don't get me wrong. I've seen a few stoneflies, little needleflies, a few caddis, there's one just drifting past me there, a few olives, I assume they're pale wateries, that's the upwinged insect I'd expect to see at this time of year. And there's a few midges and a few greenfly and a few other bits and pieces kicking around as well. So I've got nothing here to make me think that these fish are going to be particularly picky in terms of what they eat. In terms of my fly, I've tied on as a little Grayling, just risen at the back there. I've tied on a size 20 F fly. It'll do a job as a needle fly, it'll do a job as a small caddis. In truth, the F fly is one of those flies that just does a job. And I think, particularly because I think most of the fish I'm seeing rise at the back here are Grayling, it's one of those flies I do lean on when I'm doing the Grayling fishing. Just going to give this a few minutes, wait for one of these fish to rise again in a particular spot. And as soon as I've got something to aim at, we'll give these guys a couple of casts. Well, I'll be honest, I've had to be a little bit patient there. We're probably 5 minutes on from when you guys last heard from me. And in those 5 minutes, the wind has blown almost constantly. And I've barely seen a fish rise. Just in the last 20 seconds, there's been a couple of fish rise on the inside of this bubble line here. So we'll make a couple of, that's about spot on actually, we'll make a couple of casts just down the edge of this bubble line. See if we can get a, oh, little Grayling. There you go. There's a take with the first cast of the day on that F fly. Just see if we can pull a couple of takes on the inside of this bubble line. Nice long leader that I have tacked some 7X on the end to, so while I might lose a little bit of accuracy with the casts, I'll make up for it in the quality of the drifts when I get the casts right. Trust this F fly to start with. I will say the rise prior to that one that just took my fly was quite splashy and aggressive. Whatever it took, it really sort of roared over at it. Certainly wasn't the sort of rise that makes you think you've done the right thing putting an F fly on, but it is the only time I've seen a fish do that. Give it a go on this F fly. I'm already thinking, just off the back of the splashy rise that I saw, I'm already thinking deer hair emerger. I know there were multiple fish in here because I was seeing them rise while I was rigging up. I feel a bit unlucky, to be honest. The whole time I was rigging up, that wind was sort of on and off and on and off, and there were very obviously periods when the wind stopped and the fish rose. since I've got into the water, this really is the first time that wind stopped. I've landed that on a leaf. It's that time of year. Yeah, it's that time of year. Well, I've taken that as a sign from the fishing gods, and I have made the fly change I was talking about. I've just put a deer hair emerger on, one of our sparkle DHEs in a size 18, just to see if it gets a slightly different reaction. There's no great evidence here that that fish I saw rise was definitely feeding on emerging caddis, and that's mostly what this thing imitates, though. To be honest, it does a pretty good job of anything you want it to. Oh, there we go. There we go. That didn't take long. I'd say that's probably the same fish from the way it took. Absolutely threw itself at that. Oh, it's come off. That is very similar to the rise that I saw that inspired me to make the fly change. So there we go. Maybe there's a little sign there. That fly change has made something happen for me. Nice start. Couple of takes in the first 5. Okay, little walk up onto this slightly deeper, flatter water away from that little whirlpool. I've taken a couple of minutes to do a little bit of rigging just to give sort of my movements of the water a chance to die down. And I've seen a fish rise. I've only seen one. So I don't really know how many fish there are up here. Oh, I say that, another fish has just risen. So I've now seen 2 fish rise. They're in slightly different spots as well. So that gives me potentially a chance to pick both of these fish up. Now, I've made a dangerous assumption here that these are trout, just because of the proximity to structures, sort of a trouty behaviour. I've kept the 7X on, which is a bit of a gamble, given how close we are to the structure, but I want to get good drifts, and I just think that 7X is going to help me. That's there or thereabouts. I'd like to think that would do the job on the downstream fish, about there. It's not an easy one, this, because it looks like he's sort of sat in a bit of a slack over there. I think what I'm going to do is oh, he's just risen again, so he is now a bit further across. I know where he is now. There's a little mossy rock that he... Oh yeah, that'll do. Oh, that was perfect. I was a little bit fast on the strike there, because as soon as I landed it, I just had a feeling he was going to eat that, so that's my fault. I was just a little bit too snatchy on that strike. Okay, no stress. We'll switch for the upstream fish. So this one's not as far across, but a little bit further up. There's a bit of a sort of a scummy mat of leaves and stuff that he's sat just off. He has just risen. I'm not quite far enough across there. Distance is lovely, but it's going to have to go another 4 feet further over. I wasn't a million miles off there. It's a pretty good first cast. That's really nice there. Just on the edge of the flow line that comes off that weed mat. Drifts good. Can see it relative to a leaf next to it. Yeah, I thought that had a chance. Hello. Hello, this is where we regret the 7X. Righty, what have we got here? What have we got here? Whatever we've got is coming towards me, so I need to get my feet moving. I'm much happier with where he is now, that's for sure. Yeah, good fish. Good fish. I can't do the drag up too tight because of that 7X, but while he's out in the open here, we should be okay. Got a little glimpse of flank there, but the colour of the water is just doing enough to keep this fish out of view. Oh, it's an absolute belter. It's a really good fish. Oh wow, yeah, it's a really good one. I had no idea how big this fish was when I started covering it, otherwise I would definitely have taken that 7X off. That now seems like a terrible idea. Well, the water's nice and cool. We've just had a fresh, so I don't feel like I have to really pull back on this as hard as I can. The drag's set right, the rod's relatively soft. We'll just do our best. We'll do our best. He's in a good position for us at the moment. As long as he doesn't start jumping or doing any of that weird stuff, we should be okay. I'll gain some line when I can, but as soon as I've stopped winding, that left hand comes away from the reel. See this over and over again while I'm guiding. It's almost always the reel hand that breaks a big fish off. Whereas we get that left hand away, trust the drag system on that reel. As I say, we'll do our best. Off he goes again. Yeah, there we go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yards is just taken off me there in one run. But he's stopped there. So I'm just going to gather some of that line back up. I'm not pulling hard here, sort of just using the weight of the bend of the rod. And eventually you can see that fish is already sliding back towards me. And without really doing anything here in terms of pulling hard, I've gained that line back. Now, if he takes it back again, he takes it back again. That is the nature of it. I'm not doing mega angle changes. I'm not throwing the rod around. Just let the weight of that rod pull this fish towards me. And the hope is that eventually, somewhere just on my right hand side here, he pops up in this slow water and we slip the net under him. He's still got enough about him to take line, and I have to sort of accept that. On light tippet, I can't pull back. Where's he going to appear here? Oh, he's right underneath me. Saw my legs, didn't like it. He's taken a bit of line off me. But there's no panic. Each run seems to get a little bit smaller than the last. It's a long leader, so I have to bring the tip of the fly line into the rod rings. And a lot of people get very angsty about that, but it's never something that worries me quite as much as it worries other folks. That's a belter. It's an absolute belter. Get in that net! I love fishing at this time of year. I absolutely love fishing at this time of year. You never know what's in those bubble lines. I certainly didn't know this was there. It's a funny old game, isn't it? So I obviously missed that fish a few casts previous and was a bit gutted about that one. But had I have hit that take, this guy probably wouldn't be there anymore. And that, of the fish, was definitely the one to catch. That's a beautiful wild brown trout. Gorgeous Derwent fish. Thrilled with that. What a fish. Great start to a day. Let's get you back, matey. Oh, it's a good handful of trout, this. Not really a one-hander, but I'll have to get it back as best I can. Oh, you want to go? Do you want to go? Go on then. Fantastic. So it's probably about 25 minutes since I put that fish back. I had a bit of a chill out and a bit of a walk up and down the river. Didn't see a whole lot, and I was about to walk away from this area. And I've seen a couple of fish rise just in the last 2 minutes, just on the far side of this feed line. Got a little bit lucky with that last fish. I was talking during the fight and afterwards about the 7X, about the light tippet. There was actually quite a lot of abrasion on that tippet. I gave the fly a little test pull and it snapped like cotton. So I got really lucky there. One of those fish has just risen. There's a little pyramid rock opposite me. I got really lucky on that last fish, but it just shows you, if you trust that drag system, don't feel like you've got to pull back too hard. It didn't take me that long to get that fish back in. Hopefully there's another fish for me here. I have made a little adjustment to the tippet. I've taken the 7X off. That seemed a little bit over the top. It's just not worth the risk with those bigger fish. So I've taken that off. If I feel like it's really having an impact on my drift, I'll put it back on. But just for the time being, I'm going to go straight 6X and just see what happens. So the first fish, the one I saw initially, was about that distance, just on the far edge of the feed line. The last rise I saw was much further over than the other ones I've been seeing, so I don't know if I've maybe pushed this fish or maybe there are more fish over there than I realise. But to start with, I'm not going to go right the way over. At the third fish, the other fish, there's a big sort of cube-shaped rock that way. He's just behind that, so he's in a real sort of pain in terms of where he's sat. But if I need to get over there, I can get a cast to him as well. As it is to start with. Just want to start on this guy on the edge of the bubble line here. Oh, fish. That one that I've just missed, I think. Oh, what went wrong there? I felt like I waited on that as well. What went wrong there? That was almost certainly my fish. So I'll be honest, in truth, that's caught me a little bit off guard. I thought the fish was slightly further downstream than that. I wasn't expecting to take that early in the drift. Ah, dang it. Okay. Hopefully there's more than one fish on that same line for me. Yeah, there's one. There's another one. Whee! Oh, strip, 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 strip. She's coming towards me. So that's what I did wrong with the first fish. The first fish came towards me and I tried to use the reel, and you can't wind fast enough when you've got a trout zipping at you like that. So, whee! Nice fish. I'm not going to try and get this fish on the reel, I don't think. If I really need to, I think he'll put me on the reel. But just for the time being, I'll play him off my hands. It's not as big as the last one. It's a nice fish, don't get me wrong. It's an interesting one, that, because there aren't lots of caddis around. In truth, there isn't lots of anything around. It does seem to get takes, that thing. A little bit of sparkle in the body definitely does something. Righty, are you done? I can just pull a little bit harder now. I've got that 6X on, and he's in the net. Yes, that was cool. Made up for the missed one. What a beautiful fish that is. Absolutely amazing colours. It's just a shame that I didn't hit record on my phone. You idiot. A little bit rusty. Well, sorry about that. I promise you it was a really pretty fish. So you can tell I haven't made a video in a wee while. Very rusty. Again, I've just spent about 10 minutes here just having a bit of a watch and a look, see what's going on. The wind's blown pretty hard the whole time, and I was just about to walk away from this. And then the fish over by the cube-shaped rock over there has risen again. I thought, you know what, while I've sort of got a handle on things, why not just drop a couple a bit further across and see if I can get a take from him. Obviously keeping that DHE on because it's working. Just see if I can drift a couple a bit further over there. He's definitely further across than the other fish were. I haven't quite got it there, but again, I'd say as a first cast, that's pretty good. It's maybe a yard short, yeah, 4 foot short maybe. But it gives me a chance to have a look at the wind. Oh, I'm assuming that wasn't him. Because it was nowhere near where he's been rising. Gives me a chance to have a look at the wind, have a look at the drift quality, and miss a take. That wasn't supposed to happen. Very different rise to the rise I've been seeing. Assume it's a different fish. Yeah, that's much better. That's much more like the area where I'm expecting to pick this fish up. Let's see what happens. I'm hoping it's not the fish I've just missed. That'd be really frustrating if I've just messed this one up. I'm starting to think that the fish I just missed maybe was the fish we were fishing for there. In which case, come a long way to eat that fly, because that was plenty short of the target area. Yeah, I think we're looking for another fish. Let's go find a new spot. Yeah, sort of felt like I'd exhausted the resources back there, so I've had a bit of a walk. Again, it's probably 25 minutes since I last turned the camera on. On the walk down to get here, I did walk past a couple of other rising fish, but they were in spots where I just didn't feel like I could film it. Like, the second camera I just had nowhere to go. I'd have been miles away, so I walked past those thinking, well, this is okay because I'm finding rising fish. And then for the next sort of mile of water, found nothing. But sort of used my smarts a bit. I thought about where I've been finding these fish. It's been slower, slightly deeper water, up against edges, areas where there's a bit of a bubble line. And I made a beeline to an area that I know would usually hold fish. That felt about right, and this is where I am. And actually I've got 3 fish marks just in this pool in front of me. The one thing this has really got going for it is it's far more sheltered from the wind than anywhere else I've fished so far today. It's nicely tucked away. It's a lovely glassy area going right the way up the pool here. I'm hoping I'm going to find fish rising right the way up. My first one has just risen. It's just across from me. There's an alder branch that just tipples into the river that this fish is rising around. He has come this way a fair distance a couple of times, but mostly he's the other side of the bubble line. So I'm going to try and get myself just upstream of him. There's the other fish just risen. Try and get myself just upstream of him so I can pop a cast in the gap in between the sycamore and the alder and see if I can drift it down to him. It's a lovely positive rise. I will say I think this fish is eating greenfly. This summer has been the summer of the greenfly for me. There's been so many of them, and they seem to much prefer sycamore trees to everything else. I've got a feeling this fish is taking greenfly, in which case this DHE might be wrong. If it doesn't work, then probably I'll switch over to that little F fly. But to be honest, the way this fish is fed, I sort of feel like this should work. I mean, that's really good. First cast. Big stretch. Big stretch. Don't drag. Don't drag. Don't drag. Got him. First cast. First cast. That's the way to do it. Oh, I've done it again. Get off the reel, Andy. Get off the reel, use your hands. Ah, that's twice today I've done that. And it's annoying because I know I'm doing it while I'm doing it and I still keep doing it. It's all right with the bigger fish because they tend to, once they feel the resistance, go away from you. With those smaller fish, they come bolting at you and you just can't wind fast enough. That's exactly what happened there. All I've done is just by winding, I'm shaking the rod tip and I've just shaken that fish off. Well, all we can do then is try and cover the next fish up. It's just ahead of this sort of bobbly water here. There's a rock that's creating a little bit of disturbance. This fish is just upstream of that. The weather forecast, when I checked it this morning, promised there was going to be absolutely no rain, but I've got a feeling there is rain coming here. That's pretty good for that fish. It might be a touch short, maybe. The air temperature has just plummeted in the last 15-20 minutes or so. There's the odd spitting spot. This feels like it could rain properly though. Ah, it's a pretty good line for him. Maybe still a touch short. Certainly hasn't been rising as regularly as the fish that I lost. The fish that I lost was having a real good go, whereas this guy's probably only risen 3 or 4 times. That's really good. Oh my goodness, he's whacked that. Ah. Come on, Andy. Every time he's risen, he's really sipped. And for some reason, on that tiny little deer hair emerger, he has absolutely clobbered it. Okay, just let this chill out for 5 minutes there, and I've seen 2 rises. I've seen one just downstream of this low-hanging branch here. It's not far enough across. It's a nice line. It's got to go further over than that. And then the other one was right up against the sycamore branch, a bit further upstream and across. So I'll do it's a rubbish cast again. Come on, Andy. Okay, the one against the sycamore has just risen again, so I think I have no choice here but to switch targets. Let's try and thread it underneath this first tree, get it as close to that sycamore as I can. As long as it doesn't drag, that's really good. All about the drift now. Yeah, my feeling is that's probably, try and fish it down there, it's probably dragged away from the sycamore a little bit too fast. It's a pretty good cast. It wasn't a bad cast at all, but not convinced my drift quality was great there. Let's try that again, a little bit closer. That's really good. Yeah, that was really good. Oh, where did he come from? I've not seen a fish rise there once. Not seen a fish rise there once. You get a good drift, you buy yourself a ticket, eh? That is not the fish I was fishing for. Well, I assume not. If it is, he's moved a long way. But good drift on that DHE, gave myself a chance. Not playing around with the reel like I did last time. Get in that net, you. Well, I caught one of them, just not the one we were aiming for. Well, you make enough good drifts, eventually something finds you. A really pretty one, lovely autumn colours. Cheers, buddy. Well, that was a nice little surprise. I was way out of what I regard as being the fishing zone there when that fish took. It's funny, isn't it? I hit that one, then missed those other 2. I hung around for another 5 minutes. I will say it's slow. I am having to wait a long time to find stuff happening. But eventually the fish up against that sycamore branch has risen again. I've changed my approach a little bit here. Oh, that's a great cast. Changed my approach a little bit just to try and get a better drift on him. And we did get a better drift. Whee! Whee! Yeah, we got a better drift on him that time and we got the take. I was hoping that was going to be one of the real biggies, but we'll take what we get. Right, little birdie, let's get that DHE out of you. Real pretty one. Future 4-pounder that. Thank you very much. Well, because of the way the edit will turn out, this will probably look to you guys like I'm just finding fish everywhere, and let me assure you that is not the case. I was having to think about it just then because I've had 15-20 minutes since the last fish. I've not seen a whole lot happen up until this area. Now I've landed 4, I've lost 2, and I reckon I've missed 5. So I've had 11 rises. To be honest, to me it feels like I've risen pretty much all of the fish that I've covered, but I haven't had many fish to go at. In this area, however, though, I have got a few to go at. There's a funny squiggly root on the far side, almost looks like a pig's tail. There's a fish about 4 feet off there that rises regularly. Got no idea how big it is. The rises are very delicate, but I know on this place that doesn't always mean anything. Yeah, it's just risen again. It's a slightly awkward spot, but we'll give it a go. I have also got fish rising on my inside bank as well. There's a yellow willow branch leaning over. There are some fish just upstream of that on the inside, so where for 10 minutes I didn't really see a whole lot happen. All of a sudden in this one little area, it does feel like there's a little bit of stuff to aim at. Oh, it's a great cast. Maybe a touch draggy. Do you know what? That might have gone too far across. That's not the fish I was fishing for. I'd already leant back out of that because I didn't think that was going to be the one. I wonder what happened there. I wonder what happened there. Is that a different fish that I've lifted? It was dragging like fury. I'm amazed he ate that. Yeah, once again had to cover a little bit of ground there. I've probably just walked up 100 metres of river and basically seen nothing up until the point that I've got to here, where all of a sudden I have got a few fish rising, the most regular of which is a fish directly opposite me, which has risen really nicely. Like, this is a high percentage fish. I really ought to be at least rising this one, but I've got a couple of others on the inside as well. No doubt about it though, the fish to catch here is this one opposite me. I'll be a little bit disappointed if I can't lift him. Here's the other side of the flow line. It's a little bit awkward, but with that relatively long leader, I'd like to think I could probably get a drift on this guy relatively easily. I mean, that's straight away, that's pretty good. Didn't quite get over to where he is. It's perhaps a bit too far upstream as well. Let's try that one again. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, that's 2 over there. I think what I might do is just rest him up after those. So while I am getting the fly over to him, he does drag pretty harsh out of there. What I don't want to do is just drag flies over this fish again and again and again, because eventually I'll put it down. I can see food going down there. It looks to me like there are a few stoneflies going over this fish. So it might be, if I can't catch him on the deer hair emerger, we might switch to either a big F fly, which does a good job of those needle flies, or maybe the CDC and elk caddis that I've got in the box. Well, it's been about 5 minutes since I made that last cast, and this fish hasn't risen again. My first cast was a problem here. I dropped that first cast too far upstream, and it's dragged heavily over him, and it seems to have upset this guy. He didn't like that. I think what I'll probably do is have a couple of drops over there. If I give it another minute or two, if he doesn't rise again, I'll have a couple of sort of speculative drops over there. I know where he was, but just shows you how drag sensitive these fish can be. 2 casts, that's all I've had, 2 casts, and it seems to have been enough to put him down. The caveat to that is nothing else on my left hand side has risen either, so I don't know if I've put him down or if it's just, oh, there he is, or if it's just a little lull in the bug activity. That gives us that answer. That's a bit short, I don't mind. Oh, it's a tough drift, this is. Ah, it's too far upstream. Shake a little bit of slack in there, see what happens. Got him, got him, got him, got him, got him, got him. There we go. I didn't think that was the cast, I really didn't. I'm pretty unhappy with how that dropped. I thought I'd landed that too far up. Get the impression that maybe that fish was moving around a wee bit. Got lucky there. So we take a look. You know, plenty of bad luck during the course for days fishing, so we'll take the good stuff when it comes. Feels a nice fish, sort of nodding around. Yeah, it looks a nice fish as well. Done well to not only get him on the reel, but actually get him pretty close to me quite early. It's definitely the fish I was covering. Lovely sort of buttery colour to it. It's the first fish I've seen rise like that all day. Real confident sort of head and tails. Looked like he was on those stonefly. He's still got enough energy to take a little bit of line, but You'd like to think the hard work's done here. Got him away from the structure, got him over on my side of the river. Oh yeah, lovely fish, lovely fish. Yay, he's in the net. Crikey, we're working hard for him, but if we can find the fish, we can rise them. Well, you guys have heard me say it a few times. If you make enough good casts, eventually they start paying off. That's a real pretty one. Very satisfying fish, that. Didn't think that was the cast. Feel like I earned it though. Yeah, not seen a fish feed like this guy has all day. Very grateful to you, buddy. Thank you very much. Well, you can't not be happy with those, can you? Yeah, nice fish, real pretty one. Some of these fish are showing autumn colours already, as are some of the trees. Frustratingly, I'm going to have to leave pretty soon because I've got to get away, and it feels like things are just starting to switch on. I've got a couple of fish rising on the inside in front of me here, which to be honest I've got too close to. I just couldn't find anywhere else to put the other camera. And then I've got one rising in the bubble line on the far side here, and I think he's probably the percentage shot, just while these guys chill out. Righty, let's chuck this DHE over there. I'll be perfectly honest, this is not the fly that I thought was going to do the heavy lifting today. I thought today was going to be an F-fly day or a all-purpose olive day. Those pale wateries haven't had the impact on the fish that I thought they might do. I'm not seeing lots of caddis hatch, I'm really not, and while this thing just imitates generic food, really it is a caddis emerger. But geez, I mean, they seem to not mind too much what it is. I might just switch for a couple of casts. These fish on the inside have come back. That's pretty good. Ooh, draggy. Hey, he didn't mind the drag. Oof. Oh no, that was a much better fish than I realised. Okay, just had a little chill out there. Nothing's risen up the inside for a couple of minutes, so we'll just try a couple more drifts over these guys. I think I'm going to try to catch one more fish. One more fish would be a nice end today. I have got to get away pretty soon, so... Oh, that would have been my one more fish. Ah, he threw himself at that. So there's one thing with the DHEs. You do get some crunching takes with it. Ooh, I've just seen a little rise underneath the tree line over there. I mean, this is not the fish that I need to be getting involved with at this time of day, but it is right up my street, that. So I'm going to take a few steps over and see if I can cover it. Okay, underneath this sycamore, just back from that bit of wood that's hanging out the tree. That is really good. Really good. It's a bit draggy. Oh, crikey, I thought that was good enough. Oh, no. Why isn't that stuck? That was weird. He took it facing downstream. He was pretty much facing at me when he ate. He's clearly doubled back round to eat that. Oh, I'm a bit gutted about that because that looked like a good fish over there. That looked like a proper one. So I've moved about 30 yards up. And while there are a lot of fish rising in front of me, I think they're all small grayling. And I would really like to finish on a trout. That one just then's really, really annoyed me. It's exactly the fish I was fishing for. It's the drift I was looking for. He took it a little bit later than I thought he would, but to go through all that and then miss the take. I've missed a few today. A couple of grayling in front of me here. Let's just cover those guys, see if they eat. Really should be chucking the F-fly at these rather than the deer hair emerger. Something a little bit smaller and softer. That's one of those grayling might be the way we finish today. Little grey dog. Oh, the hook's fallen out. Where are you? For context, I think this is one of the bigger fish in that shoal. So they are not the big boys. Well folks, I hope you've enjoyed that few hours fishing as much as I have. I have had an absolute whale of a time there. It's been ages since we've come out and filmed a video and I've really enjoyed this one. No idea how many fish arose. It felt like plenty. It's my usual mix of really good casts, terrible mistakes, and in there a couple of really nice fish. That one earlier in the day was a belter. I'm thrilled with that. I had no idea how big that fish was. Just shows you what's in those rivers. Even with those really delicate rises, you're never quite sure what you're casting at in these places. And in terms of what we're casting, I've been a little bit surprised as to what we've actually cast today. That deer hair emerger has done most of the legwork when I thought today was going to be F-flies for the Grayling and all-purpose olives imitating those pale water eats, but actually pretty much everything's eating that deer hair emerger. A little bit of a surprise, but I'm not going to push back against it. I've figured it out early and it's a fly that's risen pretty much every fish we've covered all day, so no complaints. On the subject of flies, as ever, all of the flies that I've used today are available in our web shop. I will put the address for the web shop just there. If you've been inspired by some of the patterns that you've seen used today, that deer hair emerger in particular, you could nip over there and buy yourself a couple of your own and make the most of the end of the season trout fishing. There's only 2 weeks left, guys. If we're going to catch those trout, we've got to do it quickly. So get yourselves out into the river, make the most of the conditions. It's going to be a great last fortnight on the trout. I can guarantee it, possibly. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. Give it a like, share it with some folks who you think might also enjoy this kind of stuff, and IB and I are going to see you guys again soon for some more dry fly fishing, some more mistakes, and hopefully a couple more beauties in the net very soon. Take care folks. Bye bye.